This week, I realized that if I want to change something, it's up to me to make it happen. Why? Because I'm the one who wants the change. And the one who wants the change is the one who has to lead the way. Let's talk about it. You're listening to the Candid Coaching Podcast. Hi, I'm Candy, your favorite hypnotherapist, where we do real talk, real change, real healing, one honest conversation at a time. But before we begin, a quick reminder, I'm not a licensed medical professional. This podcast is for educational purposes only, and it is not medical advice. Okay, let's get into it. Hi, friend. It's Candy. And today I want to talk about something that sounds simple, but honestly, it's one of the hardest things in adulthood and healing, and especially in family dynamics, to learn. And that is that we teach others how to treat us. It's not our fault that they don't treat us well, because we're working on old programs. Our subconscious is programmed from birth, before birth. And we create ways of surviving in the environment that we're in. So if we learn how to get love through doing things for everybody, we will naturally continue to do that as we're older, because maybe we have parents who, are just emotionally immature or neglectful. And so you learn how to do certain things that get their attention, that get their love. And that program, it rescues you for a while, and it works until it doesn't work anymore. And the only way that changes is by us changing it. Not because it's our fault that it happened, but because if we're the only ones with the power to change the pattern. I can't change my friends or my husband's or my children's subconscious programming, but I can change mine. And when I change mine, theirs will adjust. So there's zero blame in this. Let me be very clear. You didn't create every dynamic that you find yourself in. You didn't. You did not choose your programming. You did not choose the emotional skill level of your parents or your siblings or your partner or anyone else. You're not responsible for their reactions. But if you're the one who wants the pattern to change, if you are dissatisfied with a pattern in your life, in your family dynamics, in your friend relationships, whatever it is, you're the one who must initiate the change. Not because you're stronger or better, but because you're the one who can do it. If you want to change it, because you want the change, you have to initiate it. Because the one who desires something different is the one who leads that charge. And here's the truth about relationships, especially like family. Everyone settles into the roles that they know. All their programming, there's constantly a balance that's trying to happen, a homeostasis, just like you have homeostasis in your body, where your body regulates things to keep it balanced. Your relationships will do the same. So everyone settles into the reactions that are familiar. They settle into the version of you that they've built inside their minds. So when you start to change, when you start setting boundaries, when you stop over-functioning, which is a lot of what us women do, we do more above, and we almost read people's minds. And then this is just a side note, something I had to learn, and I've noticed a lot of women struggle with this, and it's not just women, but this is where I've noticed it mostly in my work and in personal life, is that we have been programmed to read others' minds, to know exactly what they're going to need in advance so that we can take care of it, so that they just feel this smooth, frictionless life, while our lives are filled with friction to get there for them, right? And then when we get in a relationship with a man, we get very frustrated. And it's not just a man, but if we get in a relationship where someone who doesn't read our mind, we feel like that's a fault that they have, that they don't read our mind. Like they should know. But that's not actually true. They weren't programmed to read people's minds. We were programmed so that we could make life comfortable for everyone else, even if it meant at our own discomfort. And this is something that I had to learn, and I try to encourage others to become aware of, is that when you think others should know something that they don't know, it's not something, it's actually not natural to be able to read somebody's mind. You've just been programmed to do that. For survival, you did it. And you can stop trying to read people's minds. You can let them actually tell you what they want rather than trying to predict it, rather than always trying. And it creates this like overproduction, and it causes resentment. But when you start to change these things, when you start to speak up, when you start to set boundaries, even though those boundaries will create better relationships in the long run, they're going to be bumpy at first. Those who are close to you and in your circle where the boundaries are going to be noticeable to, they will flare up. They're going to resist you. They will test your old pattern, not because they're bad people, but because their system is trying to find balance again too. And it's natural. So you have to be really strong through this process. And like I said, there's this homeostasis going on. Even if the old balance was unhealthy or even exhausting for you, it was what they know. And so it's going to take a lot of courage, a lot of determination, a lot of resilience to continue to stand in what you know is on the other side of the work here. And it took me years to understand that. I was actually in hypnotherapy school where I learned that when one family member changes, the entire system eventually adjusts. And I have seen that be true over and over again in my own family unit. As long as you don't collapse back into that old role. And you might find yourself slipping up here and there. This isn't about perfection. Transformation is not about perfection. It's about progress. You get right back on it and you reinforce those boundaries. If you can hold steady through the discomfort, if you can be consistent, if you can stay grounded while the system tries to renegotiate, a new balance will form, I promise. But it doesn't show up instantly. It's an experiment. You're playing with what will work for everybody. And we're going to learn, and you're going to fail, and we're going to learn, we're going to fail, we're going to learn again from those failures, and eventually we will succeed if we stay consistent with it. That is the human way. So maybe right now you feel like you're doing everything. You're the chef, and you're the cleaner, you're the housekeeper, you're the butler, you're the driver, you're constantly predicting what people are going to feel and how they're going to react, and you're trying to put fires out figuratively and literally, and you're trying to just manage everybody's emotions. So you just feel so spent. And a lot of times it's us women who feel this. And we just feel exhausted, and it's hard to express when you express it to your partner and they're just like, well, it seems so simple to them. Like, well, you just do these things. Well, no, I can't just do that. I have to think about how this person's going to feel, and this person's going to feel, and this person's going to feel, and the emotions of all those people plus my own. And I have to do this before I can do that. And I have to think about this, and it's a huge emotional load. You might feel like, your family's almost comfortable, but you're exhausted. And honestly, they are comfortable because the old system works for them. But if they were to put on your shoes, they would be feeling exactly like you, and they would do something about it, most likely. And so you need to give yourself permission to do something about it. Because if the old system doesn't work for you anymore, and if you want something more honest, more fair, and more connected, you have to stop waiting for the less mature, the less aware, or the less ready members of your family to lead the change. They're not going to. Not because they don't care, but they don't know how to, because they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to fix the problem. They might not even recognize that there's a problem if you've kept silent. Most likely they do pick up on the energy, but this is entirely doable, and I have done it. And then sometimes things creep up again, and I have to speak up, set a new boundary, but I feel more in control. I feel more calm, more at peace. Your growth will invite their growth. Your programming, as you reprogram your mind and your body, theirs will calibrate to it. That homeostasis will come again. They will find a new balance. Your boundaries will teach them. And your steadiness becomes the new blueprint. So this takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage. So don't go into this thinking it's going to be easy, because it won't. And friend, this isn't about perfection at all. Transformation, again, is not about perfection. It's about awareness, curiosity, and practice with a dash of courage. And if you're in the thick of family change right now, I want you to hear me. You're not being dramatic. You're not asking for too much. You're not wrong for wanting healthier relationships that feel good to you too. You're simply the one who woke up first to the problem. You're aware of it. And if you ignore it, resentment will build. So it's time to pay attention. Waking up is usually the meaning behind that is you're going to lead the way. And you're strong enough to do that. So I just want to thank you for listening in with me today. And if you want support while you're navigating changes like this, I do offer private hypnotherapy sessions where I work directly with the subconscious patterns underneath all of this, why you might be doing what you're doing, and how you can strengthen your own inner worth and value so that you can walk through these difficult, sometimes, transitions. You can book a session through the link in the description. And real change starts with one small step. And you don't have to take it alone.